really? Good morning, Janine. Oops. Got away from me, didn't it? Hey, Darth. Welcome to the party. As you can tell, it's a pretty dull party right now. Hopefully, it'll warm up a little. Wow. Just me saying good morning to Janine. There was your answer, Darth. Nice cold water. I mean, vodka. Wow. We've gotten a lot of rain this week, and there's more maybe coming in today. I love it. I think we got like more than 3 inches in the past week. And of course, the yard loves it. All the plants are doing really well. It's sure slowing down the work on the planter though, because about the time the soil in there starts drying up, we get another storm. That is a little downside of the storms here. These aren't very cozy to sleep to because there's a lot of lightning and thunder. It's a nice gentle rain is nice, but when you're getting lightning and thunder all the time, it isn't as cozy to sleep to. But fortunately, a lot of the rain we've gotten hasn't come at night. It's been coming like during the day or in the early evening. So I get to sit out there and enjoy it. Yeah, it's a little humid, but that's typical for Texas in the summer. We are on the Gulf after all. But yeah, I love it. I love it when it rains. I love that's why I do videos of them. of the storms because it's so peaceful and soothing and calming and all that stuff. Gulf of America, Darth. Gulf of America. You know the answer to that. Work's doing good. We are actually, I think, going to get some new machinery in the next year or two. So that's always a good thing for a job when you can look at the company and say, yeah, the company is making investments in this place. We're not going anywhere. So that's good. It's a good company. I'm happy to work there. Exactly, exactly. They wouldn't be investing something in something if they were going to close it. Well, you know the answer to that one too. Of course, I've got new rocks. Couple little things. That one just kind of caught my attention because it's a whole bunch of little tiny quartz crystal. I can't talk this morning. Quartz crystally kind of things. But I thought it looked kind of pretty. And I got this piece, and this piece is kind of cool too. It's just a little cluster of stuff. But look at all the kind of showy stuff on that. Did I get a little on my finger? No. Thought I could see some of my finger on the camera, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool looking. All the little holes and stuff like that in it. Little hole that I can see all the way through. And I saw this and I thought, okay, this is really cool. Look at how clear that is. It's kind of got. I've seen this before. This is kind of. It's almost kind of. It's a layer kind of thing. So you can almost like peel these layers off. Uh, but it's got a very very high clarity level. You can see a lot through it. Get a lot of light through it. So I thought that was really cool. And then this piece here is a piece of petrified wood. And they keep saying it's petrified wood, but I'm not convinced that it's petrified wood. I think it's petrified bamboo. Because I mean, look, it's got this little ridge all the way around here. There's another one down here going all the way around. And these little shoots here, these look exactly like how petrified or how bamboo grows. It even has sort of a hollowed indented part here, which is another kind of uh, example of what looks like bamboo. So I don't know. They say the carrot at the store swore up one side, down the other, the petrified wood, but I don't know. I think it's the bamboo, and the fact that it actually says bamboo on the bottom, petrified wood bamboo on it. I don't know. I'm sticking with the story that this looks like bamboo to me, so I thought that was really cool. It's heavy too. Holy cow! I was just looking for jobs at the time, and I found them on one of the online job sites. And you remember because I'd been to when I was doing jobs, I'd been to a few job interviews before that, and I kind of made the decision that I'd been overdressing because I'd go in with a um, wearing a suit and stuff like that, suit and tie, and it just turned out to be too formal. And this was the first job interview I went to in more of a business casual approach, and that was the one I got. Impressed the heck out of the boss, and I guess I've continued to do that a couple times since then because he continues to let me work there. That's a good thing, right? Yeah, I don't think I've been to the Painted Desert. I've heard of it. I've been to a place in Southern California called Rainbow Basin, which was kind of fun. We went there on a geology field trip, so we went there the night before, camped over, and then went hiking through the basin. It was a fun trip. Hello, Gene. Is that where it is? Yeah, that would still be fun to check out because I've heard of it. It's one of those things that I would definitely be attracted to because of my interest in geology. Rhonda left a post on the Facebook page last week right after the live stream, and let me see if I can find it here. Hang on a second. Oh yeah, a funny story. Okay, all right, I'm going to cut away to this here. Hang on. Okay, so this is her post from last week, I guess. So my plan was to be in live today as I finished work early enough to see you all. But the dynamic tool that's her cats, I believe, had other plans for me. They knocked over a gallon of yellow paint on the kitchen floor. So she just spent 2 hours cleaning the paint. Have I said I love my cats? And since hubby had his second surgery, he has casts on Kid and Clean. So she apologized for missing, but we'll come back soon, I guess. So, hopefully we'll see her at some point, maybe even today. Yeah, apparently it's quite a menagerie over there. I love Motor City Pizza. Glad you tried it. Which one did you get? Did you get the? I generally buy the pepperoni, but there's also the supreme that's pretty good. And you pop the leftovers in a toaster oven, and it's almost as good as it was originally. I don't know. It isn't a stuffed crust, but it's a seasoned crust, and it's very soft. The pepperoni, yeah, I love the pepperoni. Pepperoni's good. That's sort of my go-to one. There's few more perfect foods than pepperoni pizza. Well, I like the fact that the crust is delicious, but also uh, not crunchy. It's nice and bread on the inside. Cheeseburger pizzas could be good too. Yeah, I used to eat a lot of the DiGiorno too, but I like the Motor City better. I've never heard of anyone doing it that way, Gene. I always used to nuke it, but then it would come out all soft and mushy and all that, But the toaster oven is great. Yeah, never know what we're going to talk about on here, right? Hello, Gene. Yeah, I could understand if you're not really into the breaded flavor on pizza, then the thin crust is the way to go. I don't hate thin crust pizza either. And sometimes, some pizzas, the pizza crust doesn't get cooked enough, and then it is doughy because it isn't actually cooked enough. So I get that too. I've definitely run into that before. Oh, nuts! Yeah, I was gonna light my incense here before we went, and I never did it. What a dork! Hang on a second. All right, let's get that easy right here, and then we're good to go. Sorry, this live stream just didn't feel right. Something was missing. I couldn't figure out what it was, and then all of a sudden, boom, there it is. Gotta have a smoking mushroom stump. It does sort of a little bit look like the petrified bamboo. Only that's made out of plastic. Ever since I figured out how to make that thing work again, I've been burning a lot of incense. So I'm gonna have to go get some more. I don't know about the age of this versus other pieces of petrified wood that I have. It's hard to tell. It's heavy though. Holy cow, is it heavy? No, I didn't see any ghosts at the Winchester Mystery House. Yeah, yeah, I have. I used to walk by the petrified tree all the time at Disneyland. That was amazing. That was something I would have loved to have in my collection. I don't know. They didn't tell me if it was a lightning strike or somebody screamed at it, but it sure got petrified. I'd be interested to hear if there were any ghost stories. I've been to my share of places that are supposedly haunted, and if they say some people are more sensitive to ghosts than others, then I must be one of those who aren't very sensitive. I've heard that the haunted mansion at Disneyland actually is haunted. From cast members that'll go there at night. When the rides shut down and you hear crazy, scary sounds. Yeah, if I thought I could do a ghost vlog and get something, worthwhile, but I'm a skeptic when it comes to ghosts, and so you'd have to actually really show me something. Oh, the see-through ghost when you go through that part where you're looking down on the ballroom and the ghosts are floating around the room. That's actually just mirrors. You're you're looking at a reflection off of glass that's actually happening above you and below you. One of the things you'll tell when you go watch that part of the Disneyland, the Haunted Mansion, is that there's never any ghosts at your level. The ghosts are above you and the ghosts are below you. That's because there's a little indented spot underneath the tracks and a little spot on top of the tracks where they have the actual animated ghosts that are floating around in there. And then you're just looking at the reflection off of glass. It's a really cool effect. I've heard that Walt's ghost is there too, especially in his apartment above the firehouse. Yes, he was. In fact, it's funny because there's a rule that all Disney cast members have to follow, and it's all part of the orientation thing. And the story is, it's in some cultures it's rude to point. So when somebody says, "Where is something?" and you point like this, like I said, in some cultures that's considered rude. So Disney teaches you to do what they call the two finger point. And apparently, that isn't as rude in some cultures. So when you're pointing with two fingers. And the theory is it's because Walt Disney himself used to do it, and the reason that he didn't actually do it for real, but apparently there was a photo of him doing it where he had a cigarette in his hand, and they airbrushed the cigarette out to the second finger, and that was why that was the origin of the Disney point. I always thought that was a funny story. Yeah, yeah, they have that candle in the window upstairs for him. I mean, it's not a candle; it's one of those electronic lights. But how do you mean strict with the characters? Yeah, there's a number of ghosts in the park that I've heard. I mean, you go look at search Disney ghosts on YouTube, and I've seen a bunch of stuff that's hard to explain. There's one video I remember seeing once where Mike wants to come up in the petrified woods, petrifying him here. So there was one video I'd seen that apparently was like shot from like the upper level, like above Pirates of the Caribbean, kind of looking out onto the rivers America and across to Tom Sawyer Island. Apparently, there's like what looks like a ghost walking on the main path there. And they apparently have a lot of problems with people bringing like the ashes of their dead ones to leave at Disneyland, and they've got a special code for whenever that happens called a code HEPA, which basically means you got to go to the location and vacuum up whatever what somebody left. No, not necessarily getting on or off the ride, but just walking on the path there. It's custodial, so I don't think it pays very much. There's cameras everywhere at Disney. They're hidden, but they are there. They can see every inch of that park. That's kind of creepy, Darth. and ironic too. Did you get to work and did you work at Disney where you could be there when the shop was closed? Or just there was nobody in there, huh? I guess. You gonna come up and visit? Wow. Yeah, there's some people. Yeah, I guess if you don't want to do that, you don't get into that part. But it isn't like they say, "Oh yeah, we didn't tell you this before. This is part of your job. There's some remains over there. You got to go vacuum it up." It's part of the training, when you go into it. And if you can't do that, you get the choice. Then you make your decision. There he is. Kind of getting to the bottom of the barrel here, so it's harder to get the good pieces out now. It's like he expects me to just drop it in his mouth. I'm surprised he doesn't expect me to chew it up for him too. And of course, you're gonna knock it down, aren't you? Yeah, I don't know what they do. Well, I guess I mean I've heard stories about people being killed, a lot of people dying at Disneyland in kind of horrible ways. I heard a story once that they were trying to the employee that was trying to stop the Mark Twain, that's the riverboat that goes around the rivers of America, and they were tying it off on the dock, and the boat was still moving, and they tried to use the rope to stop the Mark Twain, and the force of the boat was so strong that it pulled the cleat off the dock, and the rope literally cut a cast member in half. Yeah, there's some horrible things that have happened in that place. No, I've never heard of Disney covering it up. I mean, they don't advertise it, but these kinds of things happen sometimes. There's a ride now that's been there for many years. I think it was used to be called America Sings, and it's a round building, and the center of it was a stage divided into four parts, and then the outside was on a track, and it moved and it rotated around. So what would happen is you would stop, get in, sit down, and it'd be one show. Then they'd rotate the thing around 90 degrees to the next stage and show you the next part of the show, and all the way around. You go around four times, and then you get out. And apparently, one time a cast member was trying to cross from one section to the other while the thing was moving, and let's just say she didn't make it. Well, they do say at the end of the Haunted Mansion that some of the ghosts may follow you home. So, I guess you experienced that. Yeah, I don't remember the show that much. I remember just how the stage worked and how it rotated around. I mean, I used to remember something called Country Bear Jamboree. Anyone remember that? Now I think the area is Winnie the Pooh ride or something lame like that. Yeah, I don't know. I heard it was a woman, and the Roger the Rabbit ride. Someone died in that too. Apparently, while they were on the ride, the a kid crawled out of the car and got underneath, and yeah, that wasn't pretty either. I personally saw a duck get hit by a roller coaster. I can personally attest that that happened. In fact, I saw it coming like 3 or 4 seconds before it happened. I think that's Disney World, but yeah, I think I heard that too because there are gators at Disney World. Yeah, it's still Disney's dirty secret days. I got a friend that fell into the river on the Jungle Cruise too because she was drunk in the park. I didn't see it happen, but I heard about it. Hey, Dot. All right. That's one of the original rides, though, at Disneyland, Small World. And apparently it was part of the World Fair before it came to Disneyland. And yeah, it's cheesy, but whatever. It's a classic. It's one of the few attractions there that Walt physically had a hand in the creation of, because it was that Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion. Really, those were the main ones at the time. Yeah, I've actually been up in the room where Tinkerbell comes out. It starts above the Matterhorn, at the top of the Matterhorn, because you don't have access to about the top uh, third of the Matterhorn. But it's a hollow area in there, and There's a little trap door opens and wires go all the way, what, 1,000 yards or however far it is over to, what is it? Like there's a tower up there. I think it's the area that used to be the end of this where the Sky Cars ended. Because you remember back in the early Disneyland, they had the Sky Cars that you could go through, and they ended over on one side and then flew through the middle of the Matterhorn. That was before they had kind of finished off the Matterhorn, where it was just hollow inside, and you could see the cars going around in there, and that was kind of fun. Yeah, the new computer is great. I love it's a great system right now. It's got all the power I need. Um, and yeah, I like the chair. The chair is really comfortable. I like how I can recline in it. I got the height set just right now, so it's really comfortable to sit in. The monitors are at perfect level, so yeah, very happy with my purchase. I better be for what I spent on that thing, but you know what? That's hoping I'm going to be able to write it off or write off a lot of it as a business expense. There is a basketball court up in the top of the Matterhorn. I've seen it. The chair I got it at Office Depot. The desk too, and the monitors. That's weird. I don't know why that is, Gene. What are my top three attractions? Um, I guess it would be Space Mountain on Disneyland side, and I'm combining Disneyland and California Adventure as one park. So the other two are in California Adventure. The one of them used to be called California Screaming. Now it's um, what do they call it? The Incredicoaster now. They rebranded it for the Incredibles movie, and then I like the original Tower of Terror. They rebranded that as a Gardens of the Guardians of the Galaxy thing, but I don't like that as well. I thought the other one was better. At Disneyland, yeah, I could get into the park for free whenever I wanted, just about. Well, it's more of a heavy duty chair. It boasts on the side of the box that it's rated for up to 300 pounds, so it's a good sized chair. I'm very happy with all of my purchase. I'm not, it's all really good. I'm very happy with it. It's interesting the monitor being the two monitors side by side. It's like 5 feet across. Well, I find I like the desk up at the standing level a lot too. So sometimes, like during the day, I'll raise the table up all the way, and when I need something off, I just walk up to it and do my thing. Because sometimes, when I'm doing something on the computer, I only need it for a minute, and so it's almost too much trouble to sit down. Hey, La Caleros, long time. Yeah, I hope to do some more work in the yard. Actually, I got the first quarter of the first two rows finished. I think last week, and went to Home Depot last week and bought 40 more stones. So when I'm done with these stones, I'll be halfway around. And the worst part of it is at the beginning because it's getting those things level because it takes a few minutes to get a stone in place, get it perfectly positioned, get it perfectly level, and at the right height too. Yeah, I like the chair more than I thought or like the desk more than I thought I would. Oh, my back is all right. I'm not really lifting the stones that much. What I do, like I said, I get 40 of them at a time because that's about what the trailer can handle. And when I move them from the trailer to the backyard, I put them in a wheelbarrow and move them that way. And now they're kind of positioned right next to where they're going to go. So when I get to the point where I'm going to start doing that, then I'll, you know, just have to move each one of them into position. That's part of the reason I'm kind of taking that part slow. This is going to be a long term project because, you know, I've already I made a decision last week about it. I am going to have exits on all four of the sides, so there'll be steps going down from all four of the endpoints. I did that mainly because I'm concerned about how the bricks are going to work. Because since each brick sits back a little bit from the brick underneath it, that means that the circumference of the circle is getting smaller, and that makes the bricks kind of offset a little bit more. And if I don't stop and reset it uh, at some point, I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to have bricks on top of each other rather than staggered. So that's a decision. That'll also save a little bit of work because it'll be fewer bricks I got to put in, but it'll increase the work a little bit too because I'm going to have to cut some of those bricks. But it's a fun project. I'm enjoying doing it. It's going to look great. Yeah, the yard slopes a little bit. It's higher in the back than in the front, so I want it to probably be about 3 bricks in the back, which means it's going to probably be like 5 bricks in the front. So yeah, I'm going to need stairs most definitely. Because if I go up to 5 bricks, that's going to be stepping up like 24 inches. Yeah, I can do that, but let's make it look neat. No, it does. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if it's exactly north, south, east, west. It's close because my house isn't north facing or whatever. It isn't straight. North is like that way. So this is like northeast, pointing at the wall behind me. And I think it's all set up because that's the way the river flows. The river kind of flows. Doesn't go north to south or east to west. Yeah, no. Actually, we don't have a whole lot of that at Home Depot here. I saw it all the time in California. I think so too, Lindex. I think it'll make it look nice. I'm really excited about this project. It's going to be cool when it's done. Oh yeah, I remember that when Selena was murdered. I mean, I was never aware of her as an artist, but Murdered by her manager, wasn't it? Fan club manager. That's right. That's what it was. Oswald. You mean Lee Harvey Oswald? I mean, I've been to Lee Harvey Oswald's grave. I was trying to get parole. Yeah, no doubt. Oh, I was insane at the time. Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm of a mindset you kill somebody else, uh, you lose your freedom. At minimum, you lose your freedom for the rest of your life. I don't know about the Menendez brothers either. I hope not. There are people that need to be in insane asylums. I'm sorry. It's just, you go to LA and walk around like Hollywood, you'll see it. Yeah, Scott Pearson, another one. Yeah, because I think they killed their parents because they thought they'd get the inheritance. Well, you look at them; they're kind of creepy looking now. Yeah, sometimes people they want to just kind of escape the history of a place, and renovating the house will sometimes do that. I know the house that Sharon Tate was murdered in the man by the Mansons. The people who owned that property completely gutted the place and rebuilt it. Yeah, but they were adults; they could leave. It was about money. Did anyone hear about that weird volcanic eruption at Yellowstone? Like one of the hot springs just erupted. I think Jordan went to Rebecca Schaefer's place, didn't he? Yeah, Dominic Dunn too. Unfortunately, that's true, Lindex. That could happen, and that would be a world changer if that happened. No, but people panicked, and I guess they've closed off that part of the park right now. Well, Yellowstone is what they call a super volcano. Basically, Yellowstone is the same exact thing that made the islands, the Hawaiian Islands. It's what they call a hot spot. And what that means is, that we have the crust on top, the mantle, which is like lava underneath, and then there's an iron core in the middle. The deeper down you get, the hotter it gets. And what happens is the warm, moist rock or magma from deep down rises up through vents until it hits the underside of the crust, and then it circulates and it comes back down and sinks back down again, kind of like water does right before it boils if you watch it in the pot. Well, where these streams of heat are coming up, it creates a hot spot on top. And that's what creates all the thermal fissures and geysers and hot springs and stuff like that on in Yellowstone, is the fact that there's all this heat coming up from deep in the earth and reaching the underside of the crust and then circling back down. It's leaving all that heat there. It's that same process that's creating the volcanoes that are the Hawaiian Islands. Because there's another hot spot there. There's a bunch of them on the planet. But if that one blew, I mean, it would change the weather for years, maybe decades, because it would be a massive volcano. It would make Mount St. Helens look like a firecracker. Well, it wouldn't be a volcano in the form that you think of it, because it wouldn't like erupt, but it would send out a lot of ash and dust into the atmosphere, and that's just the issue. Yeah, the Big Island of Hawaii, the Kilauea there has been erupting very spectacularly lately. I almost wish I could go visit there. I've been to Kilauea a couple of times because I love the volcanoes and stuff like that, and lava tubes and all that fun stuff. And you could see like lava tubes from above that were still active with the magma or the lava flowing through it. It's amazing. Sister's doing good. She contacted me a couple weeks ago and is thinking about coming and visiting me later this year. So it'll be the first time I had somebody from my family come visit me. That'll be fun. Got to figure out what to do to entertain her though. I'm sure she'll want to go to the Magnolia Silos, of course, and from there, we'll figure it out. She was a huge fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so maybe we could go to some of those locations. I don't know. I don't know if she'd come on the live stream or not. She's never been that interested in my vlogging. I don't think she watches any of them. She knows I do it though, because there've been times that I've been to her house and yeah, pretty much my sister's a shopper. Cameron Park, yeah, maybe. She was talking the possibility that maybe my uncle might accompany her and my cousin, which is his daughter, and he would love to go visit Cameron Park. So, he's definitely somebody who would be up for a hike. But Dr. Pepper Museum, that would be fun. I'm sure my sister would be interested in that. Waco Suspension Bridge, show her some of the funky little shops downtown. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, My sister kind of likes jewelry a little bit too. So, this rock place doesn't just do rocks, they do like some jewelry too. So maybe we could find her some fun, earrings or a necklace or something. That's definitely a possibility. Well, I don't think they do a whole lot of custom anymore because it was Chris, who's out of the picture, who was the jeweler. Kara is into more of the rocks and stuff like that. And so she's, kind of, they're not doing the custom stuff anymore. Yeah, definitely a lot of good food places. I really like that burger place. What was it? Twisted Root Burger that I've been to a couple of times. There's a good barbecue outside of town at a place called Hellberg's, the health camp. That was a really good burger. I was very very happy with that burger. Oh, we definitely won't starve here. I've never seen her be kind of a spa person. But one thing that I have been thinking about, one time my sister and I and a couple of her friends went to an escape room, and we had a lot of good time doing that. And they got an escape room here in Waco. And if my uncle came, he loves beer and wine, and we have four good breweries there, so we could do a brewery tour very easily. Yeah, well, I mean that's the place behind the Mayborn Museum, and yeah, that might be kind of fun too. Just checking out the museum is kind of fun. They generally don't let you put cameras in there because they don't want you bringing a camera in there and saying, yeah, here's how do you get out of this one. They want it to be kind of a unique experience for everyone. And yeah, I probably wouldn't vlog it for that reason. That historic village, they decorate that thing up really nicely for Christmas. But I don't think she'll be here that late. She was talking maybe October sometime. She wanted to get here when it wasn't so hot during the day. And I don't blame her. I don't really like being out that much when it's hot either. I don't know. We haven't worked out how long she'll stay. I don't know. Didn't Jordan go to the Alcatraz Museum? I have thought about taking her to Silo Screams. We may end up doing that. Yeah, we go look at Baylor campus. She's got kind of, or at least at one point, kind of had kind of a dark sense of humor and kind of a fascination with the the macabre, if you will. She might be interested in going to the Branch Davidian site. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna come kind of make a list of things, and you guys have put some good stuff here that I might think about too. Yeah, it depends on how much that my sister is interested in being on camera. Oh, we'll definitely have to go to Bucky's. Bear claw and iced tea. That sounds pretty good. No, she'll fly down. Apparently, she's got some of her in-laws that live in Austin, so I think she'll probably fly into Austin and then maybe drive here or whatever. Have me go pick her up or something. I haven't had trolls in a while, La Claros. I guess they lost interest in me. I think also a lot of these trolls, they they like it when they get banned, and I don't necessarily ban them, or if I do, I'll ban them and then I'll spend the next 20 minutes mocking them. I think that damages their fragile egos. But like I said, I think it was just one guy that would do it over and over again because we'd go months and months and months without a troll, and all of a sudden it'd be one troll after another, after another, after another. That's got to be one person. You're a good kind of troll, though, Dot. I don't have a problem with out of left field questions or steering the conversation in odd directions. But if you're there just being to be disruptive, I don't have any room for that. But you've led these live streams into odd directions, and that's made this a lot of fun. So you are always welcome, Dot, until you start dropping f bombs. Buckies are fun, and I'm glad that I've seen I think like four of them now. Well, and I think it was there was one specific troll that was targeting all of them, and that same one came after me, and he came after me online too on Facebook, and then I figured out who he is. I know what he looks like. I know what his name is. I know where he lives. I know where he works. I know what his kids look like. So he's in his 30s. It is. It really is pathetic. Well, I'm a 60-year-old man that hates all things Disney, so maybe that's the difference. No, he made the stupid mistake of attacking me through his primary account. Yeah, he was an idiot. I mean, you got to be an idiot to do that. I think it is. I think it is the same person because early on, Jordan became a moderator or an admin on this page. No, I guess a moderator is what I made him. Like Rhonda is a moderator, and he urged me to make him a moderator when I was having a lot of trolling problems because he just went troll hunting a few times when he would be here. I think Jordan was looking at legal action at one point. I don't know what happened on that or if anything did. Usually the trolls are the ones that come in there. They're just they'll ask about a bunch of questions that don't make sense, or they'll start just filibustering and posting the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah, they're there to disrupt. Exactly, Darth. I can't. I don't understand that either, Gene. No, I haven't looked into recipes on Jolly Ranchers. I did, however, take I think inspiration from a live stream last week, and I'm going to try making some fudge. I think I actually bought the ingredients last week and didn't get around to doing it, but we may do that today. I got to revisit the ice cream thing because I haven't. I want to start by uh, perfecting the ice cream itself, and then we'll say uh, then we'll say whether we then we'll do the whole rest of the thing, put the chocolate in there and try and get the color right and all that stuff. I did Rocky Road, I think. Yeah, I did Rocky Road, but it was the mint chocolate chip one that that I want to try again. It did taste a little too much like toothpaste. I don't know. I've looked at it a couple times, and I'm not sure how to test the mint, but it was supposed to be good. You put it in there for a couple months, and I've kept it in kind of a cool, dry place in the dark. I put it in a storm shelter, and that's usually pretty dark in there. And I haven't checked it out. I don't usually eat um, chocolate that much. If I do, it's dark chocolate. I don't really like milk chocolate. It's too sweet for me. I'm kind of funny that way, you know. I like the kind of extreme versions of things like uh, cheese, cheddar cheese. I love cheddar cheese. My favorite is extra sharp cheddar cheese. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of fluff, at least not with regards to fudge. Yeah, see, I haven't really had a Hershey bar in shit, probably since I was a kid. I mean, except sometimes the little minis that you get for Halloween, sometimes like that. It is 90% vodka. You're right. Bite's considering returning to us here. Is that in Hershey, Pennsylvania? That is something I'd think would be fun to watch or fun to see. I mean, heck, I've been to the Spam Museum in Austin, Minnesota. Definitely something to be fun to check out. Somebody said, "Really? Did you just do that?" He tried to jump up on the couch and fell off. You klutz. I still want to go do a Bluebell ice cream tour. I think I can do that at some point too. I didn't know it had like rides too, but just checking out the museum, that'd be fun. Yeah, Spaniel Mom, I got some just last week. Here, let me show you what I got here. I just found this one. This is just a little thing, but I thought it was pretty because of all the little tiny little quartz crystals that are on it. Anything that's kind of interesting looking, I kind of like that. And this is something I found that I thought was kind of cool. And I like how it's got all these good, funny little holes in it too, so you can like look all the way through it. So yeah, that's kind of cool. She had a couple pieces, and actually, there's one that she didn't want to get rid of, and so I ended up taking the other one. The one she didn't want to get rid of, I thought I liked it because these little irregular little clusters coming up. Of one of them looks like that famous photograph from the Hubble telescope called "The Pillars of Creation." Actually, I have a copy of it on the wall behind me. That's that thing right there. And the little pieces that were growing off of it looked a lot like that. And I got this thing, and I like this thing. She actually had a couple of these, but this is almost like glass, but it's like thin layers of this almost transparent sheet. And she was using it like as a base for other things. She had one of these in her jewelry case, and then she had like rings and stuff like that stacked on top of it. But I managed to get her to part with this one, and that's a really kind of cool piece of to my collection. In fact, that can almost stand up on its own here. Yeah, I need to start displaying that like that. I've been kind of laying it down like this, but it'll stand up like that too. So maybe I got to start doing that. Starting to run out of room already for my rocks. And then I got this piece. This is well, they call it a piece of petrified wood, but I actually think it's petrified bamboo because if you look at it closely, it's got these little lines around it there and again down here that look an awful lot like what bamboo looks like. And you look at these little branches that are coming off of it here and here, they look an awful lot like the way bamboo branches out. It's also kind of hollow in the center here, which is very reminiscent of how bamboo looks. So they call it um, they call it petrified wood, but I think it's bamboo. So that's a really cool piece of my collection. I like that a lot. That's heavy too. Too big to go in the case too. So what I've been doing is putting it on top, like with my amethyst cluster that's right there. Sorry, I would never be a good TV weatherman because I can't do this. But yeah, right there, I've been putting it next to that. Yeah, that's what I thought, Spaniel Mom. It looks like bamboo, and I made that argument with Kara, but now she said no, it's petrified wood. Another piece of evidence that it's bamboo is it actually says the word bamboo on the bottom of it. It says P wood for petrified wood, but they call it bamboo. It says so right there. So I don't know. I'm going to continue to believe it's bamboo because it looks like bamboo, and yeah, I guess it does sort of look like a ray gun. No, I don't have insurance on this. I don't know how I would do that Because how do you keep track of what the value is? Because the collection is constantly growing. I mean, I've got an Excel spreadsheet that I've been you know cataloging everything in, so I know what I have and know what everything looks like and how much I paid for it and all that. The next question is, what do I do with it once I pass? Who's going to want a bunch of rocks? Although I could probably donate it to the Mayborn Museum. They have a pretty impressive rock collection. No, I don't want to. I wouldn't want to have my own rock shop because I'd end up buying everything. I did tell Kara one of these times she's got to take me on one of her uh, rock buying excursions, and I said, "Oh, I'd be willing to do that." And she says, "Well, if you'll drive." I guess a lot of them are up in like Dallas and stuff like that. It'd be fun to do that though. Yeah, I don't know about how my brother-in-law, what kind of expertise he would have in that. Thanks for stopping in, Gene. Good talking to you. Well, like I said, I've documented what I paid for everything, so that's in the Excel file. Oh, I'm sure there are. I mean, I'm subscribed or kind of following a couple of like rock and mineral groups and like I think stores and stuff like that to display the stuff they have. Because I mean, my Guided by Voices collection is pretty valuable too. There's just some things in here that I kind of get into obsessive modes in terms of collecting, and right now I'm in an obsessive mood with rocks. And who knows, this could stop as quickly as Guided by Voices did. I just kind of burned myself out on them after a while. I don't know. I have thought about finding some impressive mineral specimen to put in the yard. I was talking to Kara. She says that there's a guy who's like the president of the Waco Gem and Mineral Society who kind of lives in the area, and apparently he has some very impressive specimens just scattered around his front yard. She wonders, how do you keep it from um, getting stolen and stuff like that? And he says it's not been a problem. I guess nobody realizes what it is, but I'd love to have a big like a big impressive specimen. I'd have to find something because I was talking to Kara about that too. And the first thing I was thinking was that big amethyst cluster I got up there on the top. But she says, no, you won't want to do that because the sun will kind of bleach out the color of the amethyst over time. It's like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that. But I'm sure a couple of those large quartz clusters would look nice out there. Yeah, I owe Jordan a visit. Hello, Kim. You want me to leave the whole rock collection to you, Dot? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I was aware of Bob Ross. I don't know enough about him to either like or dislike him. I do need to sit down and write out a will, figure out how we're going to deal with all this stuff. Well, I wouldn't put any rocks in the front yard. They'd be in the backyard. I'm looking about how to decorate for the new planter area. Yeah, he was the one that was always making the happy little trees. I remember Bob Ross. Your will changes according to who you get mad at. Yeah, I hear you. Kara has a really nice, huge geode sitting on the floor in her shop right now. It's really gorgeous. Actually, it used to be sitting on the floor. Now it's sitting on the pedestal where something I bought from her a couple weeks ago was sitting. That piece of blue, what was it? The blue fluorite that I got that was sitting on that pedestal until I got it. Now the big geode went there. I don't know. That may end up going home with me at some point. God, I like that. That was gorgeous. I'll show you what a geode is. I have several. Hang on a second. All right, let's get us all back in the broadcast position here. Hang on. Please stand by. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Okay. So basically, a geode is a rock that's hollow, and on the inside, you end up with these beautiful crystalline structures. And this is just a very simple quartz geode, but I've got a bunch of different types of geodes, and they have some that are massive. In fact, you remember when I went to the Perot Museum about a year ago? They had a giant amethyst geode that you could open and close. The opening and closing mechanism wasn't working that day, but they had it open so you could see it. But it was probably 8 or 10 feet tall and probably 6 or 8 feet across, and had to weigh, I mean, 5 or 10 tons. And like I said, something like that would be really impressive in the yard. A lot of times the rocks, it's based on the weight. Because a lot of times, when she's coming up on with a price or something, she'll weigh it and say, "Oh, okay, this weighs that. Okay, yeah, it usually goes for this amount per ounce or per pound or whatever." Yeah, no, I'm not going to steal anybody else's rocks. I wouldn't want anybody stealing rocks from my yard. Hey, Mark, I love In-N-Out burgers. Yeah, there was an In-N-Out burger near me where I lived in California. There's a couple of them here, but yeah, In-N-Out burgers are good. In-N-Out burgers fries are horrible though. If I were going to put something large outside, though, it'd have to be something I could anchor to the ground some way to prevent theft. But yeah, I could totally see that happening. I mean, there's one thing I've been thinking about for the backyard, for the planter that I have in my collection. Let me show you that. I've shown you that before, but yeah, this is my what is it? My fluorite sphere. And this thing weighs about, I don't know, 10 or 12 pounds. But I've been thinking about putting it on some sort of a pedestal out there in the yard, because this is something that would hold up well in the environment, because everything would just roll off of it. It's nice and smooth, so there's no cracks to get in there. It shouldn't be affected too terribly by sunlight, and should continue to look beautiful out there. So I'm thinking about maybe putting that in the yard, at least temporarily. Maybe one of those things you put out there certain times and leave it out there for a little bit and then bring it back in. But yeah, that would be a fun one. It has to be something big enough that it's gonna be noticed. Because if you get something little in there, then people just miss it. Yeah, I know. Isn't it funny how comfortable I am getting walking away from the camera? That's something we just have to experiment with, Dot, to see if that happens. Yeah, I was thinking of some sort of a pillar or something too. I bet you could find something at that statuary place down in Bruceville, Eddy. But one of the things I really like about that fluorite sphere is that it glows, that it reacts to ultraviolet light. So it might be one of those things that I put in the yard, and then put like a black light source on it to make it pop. Oh, that's okay, Mark. You're in here in time. We're gonna go for a while. Yeah, I'm going to do something great with lighting out there. I'm not sure yet. Something to scare away all the airplanes, right, Darth? Well, I got to look. I got to look at that too, Lindex, a little bit, because the walkway path that's going to go in the middle of the planter is going to have like a pebbles or something in it, and so I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. And then underneath that, it's going to be like a layer of sand. It's the sand that basically was the sand at the bottom of the pool. It's a nice kind of smooth sand that I can flatten out, put like a weed layer on top of it, and then the pebbles on top of that, and it should look good for a long time. Works good, Darth. Works good. The boss has some interesting training ideas that he wants to get me involved in. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to things. It's good that I'm getting to the point now where I understand the basics of the job and am kind of getting to do some like little side projects. Those are the things that keep jobs interesting because I don't like doing the same thing every day. I like a little variety. Yeah, it does involve videos, Lindex. Got a little squirrel walking around on my porch right now. Man, we're hour and 40 minutes into this. This one's just flying by. No Rhonda today, though. That's too bad. Hopefully, one of these days. I miss Rhonda. When Rhonda's not here, I got to do all the talking. I've never eaten squirrel, no. Yeah, that was a picture I shot this morning. I had about a dozen candidates for pictures, and that was the one that I thought was the best. That's sort of what I'm doing now. When I get an idea for a cover photo for the live stream, I'll go shoot like 10, 12, 14 photos and then pick the best one. Yeah, yeah, that was in the backyard. Uh, what I do is, I've got the bird feeder, I got the bird bath, and I put squirrel food out on the first day of my weekend. So I get squirrel activity and bird activity and all that during the week while I'm off, and that goes out Sunday morning before the live stream. So squirrels start congregating in the yard usually on Sunday about 10ish or so. They start realizing, ooh, there's food out there. Most exotic meat I've eaten. Alligator, I've had alligator. That was pretty good. Bison, that's pretty good. Venison, I've had venison. I like venison. I'm glad you liked the live streams. I enjoy doing them too. Gator meat was good. I mean, granted, mine was like deep fried, so I mean, it wasn't like some gourmet thing. I got it at a fair. I think I got it at a fair here. Yeah, I'm glad everyone enjoys them. I mean, yeah, it's the same people here every week, but that's great. Every once in a while, we get somebody new that pops in, but it's like talking to my old friends. Oh man, yeah, did you see that that avalanche that buried a whole town in Switzerland? That was amazing. It only happens because oh man, look at who's here. Dr. Susan's back. It's been months. No, I don't think I've ever had wild turkey or bear meat, but given a chance, I'd try both. Yeah, I know. I, I thought we'd lost Dr. Susan. It's been so long. You've been okay? We just thought you were over us. Rhonda's going to be sorry she missed you. Now, Dot, you're going to be really embarrassed if she comes back and says, "Yeah, I was in jail, and I did see Rhonda." Yeah, it's been so long. I started getting going crazy on the rocks. But yeah, we're glad you're here. I think this live stream just went to epic. No, I don't really miss the pool, and we're starting to get to the point now where I'd probably be getting into the pool. But I went the whole summer last year, and never once did I say to myself, "Gee, it'd really feel good to hop in the pool." So Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to what it turns into because this is gonna be a long-term project, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, they were, and that was the whole thing. And the straw that broke the camel's back on that was I was going to basically have to replace the whole thing, because the skin was all rusted out, and I asked at the time, can you save the liner? And they said, well, usually when you drain the pool, the liner gets all crinkled up and it never lays right again. And they were right. Second I got the water out of it, it started, curling up and becoming not flat, and that was never going to work. So, it just, like I said, I went through the whole summer last year and never really felt the need to get in. I'm not that I don't rule out the possibility maybe of something else, maybe a little jacuzzi or something like that. Uh, just to put it out in one corner of the yard or something like that. Or I've even seen a couple of like ranch shops that they have around here because they got like ranch and farm shops around here. There's a couple of them in the area that are, for people that have like, farms and stuff like that, and they have all sorts of things. I've noticed a couple of them have like little inflatable pools. And I mean, by little, there may be like, 8 feet in diameter or something like that, 4 feet deep. That's true. Having a friend with a pool is way better than having one yourself. I mean, maybe if I had somebody else tend to it, but I'm kind of a hands-on kind of person. So I do like to do as much as I can on my own. Yeah, we got Lake Waco here. I could go in. Why are the inflatables inconvenient? I mean, it seems to me like it would be more convenient because I could drain it when I didn't want to use it. That would be way easier than trying to cover it in the winter to keep the squirrels and the acorns out of it. See, that was the thing that sort of was the end of the pool. Also, the year that I made the decision to get rid of it, the tree above it just was dropping acorns into it faster than I could pull them out. I didn't know there was a Mr. Bean's animated series. I've seen Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean's funny, but cartoon version? No, I wasn't aware of that. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought I misread that. For some reason, I saw the in in inflatables and thought you were saying that they're inconvenient. Leaves too, but the leaves tended to end up in the skimmer. The acorns would go right to the bottom. The branches tended to float a little bit too. But that spring when I was debating what I was going to do with the pool, and would be out there watching it, and it'd be blip, there was an acorn, blip, another acorn, blip. Every couple seconds one would drop in there, and I'd be fishing thousands of them out of there a day. It was too much. And then the acorn ended up destroying the brand new pool robot. So I just bought a brand new pool robot for like $2,000, and the acorns destroyed that. And so it's like, oh, and now it's going to be another couple thousand to install a new pool. It just seemed, no, I'm done. Thanks for stopping in, Dot. My favorite troll. Well, that was another. Oh, we got some severe weather coming in here. I don't know. Let's look here.
Northeastern Limestone County in central Texas, southeastern Navarro County in north central Texas until 1:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 12:50 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm was located near Angus, or 12 miles south of Corsicana, moving southeast at 25 miles per hour. Hazard, 60 miles per hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail. Source,
$half size hail.
Intact, hail damage to vehicles is expected. Expect wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees.
So that's a good one.
The severe thunderstorm will be near Roseland Chambers Reservoir around 12:55 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Fairfield around 1:25 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by the severe thunderstorm include Cotton Gin, Fallon, View, Box Church, Stewart's Mill, Streetman, Shiloh, Roseland, Kirwan, and Freestone. This includes Interstate 45 between mile markers 188 and 222. For your protection, get inside a sturdy structure and stay away from windows. Continuous cloudy ground lightning is occurring with this storm. Move indoors immediately. Lightning can kill.
Yeah, this one looks like it's going to miss us. And it's weird. It is moving southeast. And that's really weird because usually the storms kind of move northeast. No, the car's in the garage, definitely. But this one doesn't look like it's going to hit us. But they were saying that as the day goes on, there's more chance that we may end up with a storm. I think they're saying something like 50% chance tonight, or this afternoon, and 70% tonight. If it happens, I'll get some good footage of it. I've yet to see a really good hailstorm. We've had little bits of hail, but I know it's possible that we can get good hail here because the previous owners reported that they had to replace the roof once because of a hailstorm. And they put this like bulletproof roofing material up there is designed to stand up to this. I always worry about that though when we have a powerful storm go through on a day when I'm at work. I think I'm going to come out and my car is going to be all hailstone damaged. Yeah, that's something I really like about Texas, that we get good storms. We got rain in California, but very rarely was there like lightning and thunder associated with it. It was generally a very gentle rain. I love the fact that we get really powerful storms here. Afternoons and evenings, Gene, because what ends up happening is it's usually when you get a lot of warm, moist air, and then that moist air is kind of close to the ground, and as it starts cooling off, the more moist air starts rising, and that's what forms the storms. So yeah, afternoons and evenings are usually the best time, especially for a good electrical storm. Darth is checking out. I'm going to go take cover. Thanks for stopping in, Darth. Yeah, probably don't get an enormous number of tornadoes in Minnesota. I do know it happens, though. I know there was a place near where my grandparents lived. It was called, I think, called Como Park, and there apparently one time I went there night before a tornado had gone through and taken out some trees. So it does happen, but that's pretty far north. And I don't know, maybe my opinion of tornadoes would change if I actually been through one, but right now they're just interesting. Yeah, I like a good lightning storm. I think I'm going to try and make some fudge today, and I want to try and get out and do something. I got to do some yard work, but um, I want to try and do more than one video this week. I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks, and I don't know. I gotta focus a little bit more on the channel sometimes. I like to kind of do a go somewhere and see something kind of video. Jordan's been telling me that there's a new Meow Wolf that's opened up in Houston. I should probably go check out some point. I don't know. We'll play it by ear. I was hoping to see a good Memorial Day parade last weekend, but it rained on all the good days. So, search it on my video because I did one in Grapevine, Texas, a year or two ago, and Jordan and I also did one when we were driving to Texas the first time. There's one in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So yeah, check out the video. It's a weird art exhibit. It's kind of a surreal, interactive thing that you can, kind of wander around and look at all sorts of interesting things. You're moving to Houston? Okay. I've only been to Houston once. That was a little less than a year ago when I went there to look at the Johnson Space Center. Traffic was really bad there. That's what I remember. Yeah, Meow Wolf was a lot of fun. So it'd be, and this will be the third one of them I've seen. So and Jordan was saying I should go early because you'll get the best videos if you're like one of the first people to video it. think I want to wait until after June, though. I've been seeing them advertising that they're doing a Pride theme for June. Yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. We'll hit it sometime. I got to figure out some way to get there so I can try and avoid the traffic as much as possible. Like I said, it was miserable driving home from Houston after that Johnson Space Center because it took me like 2 hours to get out of town. And then it was like another 3 hours back. Well, I love doing movie filming locations, but it has to be a movie I like, and there's a lot of Westerns, and I'm not really a Western kind of person. So, I was lucky to find, RoboCop was filmed here and Logan's Run was filmed here and Dazed and Confused was filmed here, but um, I don't know. It would have to be another movie that I really like. Well, I mean, I'll answer your questions right now. A lot of computers these days, Susan, have multiple video ports. In fact, I've talked about the fact that this machine is there's not a dime's worth of difference between this machine and a gaming computer. And this one actually has the ability to run up to 4 monitors. And so I could literally wrap monitors around myself if I wanted to on this machine. Two is good enough because it's great for the desk, but yeah, I love the dual monitor. We have those at work, and it's really handy because you can go full screen for, on one screen with something and another thing full screen on the other monitor and bounce back and forth real easy. I love the dual monitor thing, and honestly, the rising and sitting desk, that's something that's sort of inspired too, because the workstations at work are on similar raising tables like that. And I find I didn't know how much I'd be into it, but I like the fact that sometimes I just want to go up to the computer and do something real quick. And it's a lot easier if I can just walk up to it and it's at standing height. And so I really like that. But the dual monitors, even the last computer I have, this computer over here that's now over on the desk over here, I realized that actually has 2 monitor support. I could have been doing that all along, but you know, it's it's a really good feature. I really like the fact that they're doing that, and I think I got a pretty massive system out of this. Yeah, I think there are a lot of westerns. Yeah, Meow Wolf is one of those things that you kind of got to get into. It's got to be something you're into. You know, I just thought I was so fascinated with the idea when we went to the one in Santa Fe that when I heard that they were doing one in Dallas, I said, "Oh man, I got to check that out," because it was fun. It's weird, but it's fun. Might not be everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay. It's not like I put a gun to your head and said, "Watch every one of my videos." You can watch the ones you want. If there's ones that don't seem interesting to you, it just it was such a it was such an interesting thing to look at. Well, it's getting easier actually to find movie locations because there's with the Dazed and Confused video, for instance. I just found a website that had all the addresses. And so it was very easy to find what I was looking for, and and since I knew where I was going and could look at it at street view before I went there, I could, easily line up the shots and figure out, okay, this is the angle the camera was at when they were here, and try and reproduce a lot of that. Yeah, and like I said, the only thing I had against the gaming systems, is that they have so many lights on it. It's like working with a pinball machine, and it just, like I said, it was a hassle to find this box, because there were, you know everybody wants gaming machines that have like neon lights and lights on the fan lighting up the CPU, and it's like, no, I don't. I want you to be impressed by my machine by what it can do, not how it looks. How it looks is unimportant. But yeah, I mean, computers are definitely a good way of training. For now, though, I think this other computer over here is gonna. This is the old computer, and I think it'll just continue to work for a while, and because it's actually doing better now. I think it was having problems keeping up with all the stuff I had hung on it, and so all the hard drives and stuff like that, and it doesn't seem to have to work as hard as anymore. So since it's still working, I'll use it for like a workstation or something like that. As long as it continues running, it's still useful. And I was surprised. I thought when I moved my Microsoft Office to this machine, I'd lose it on that machine, but I didn't. So I guess I got multiple subscriptions, and I got one on the laptop, which I'm using right here, and two on the working desktop. So that's good. Yeah, and it doesn't really do anything for me, Dr. Susan. In fact, if you saw the last video, there was still way too many lights on the new machine. I had to go and cover them up. Anyway, I think it's time to move on with this. So I'm going to end the live stream now. Dr. Susan, it was great seeing you again. I hope you continue to come back, and maybe next time we can get Rhonda in here too. Yeah, that is. Well, I don't know if you can see the new chair. Let's see. There's the new chair. You can kind of see over my back there, over my head. I love the new chair. The chair is comfortable to sit in. It reclines, and yeah, it's a very nice chair. I'm very happy with it. I'm happy with the whole system. So yeah, okay. So I think this is the end. Thanks everyone for watching. I had a good time today. See you next week. Good night.